Freak shows, once a popular form of entertainment and a common feature of American culture in the late 19th and early 20th centuries, are now largely disapproved of.
The marvelous freaks you'll see for the price of a small thin dime.
These shows highlighted a wide array of performers, both mocked and admired for their extraordinary traits, ranging from extreme hairiness to having genuine horns. Seeing these remarkable individuals in person was a bewildering experience, often met with skepticism until witnessed firsthand. For those who doubt, get ready to be amazed as we reveal 20 circus freaks that truly existed. Number 20. Annie Jones. Born in Virginia on July 14, 1865, Annie Jones gained notoriety as the Bearded Lady because of her long beard, which was a result of hirsutism. Her parents took advantage of this and displayed her from an early age. She was already performing in P.T. Barnum's touring performances when she was 1 year old, and she went by the moniker Infant Esau. P.T. Barnum was an American showman and businessman known for founding the Barnum and Bailey Circus and promoting sensational and sometimes controversial entertainment. Annie quickly became one of his most popular attractions. Unlike many sideshow performers, Annie was celebrated for her poise, intelligence, and musical talent, playing multiple instruments and engaging with the public eloquently. Annie married twice, both times to men associated with the circus industry. Her first marriage was to Richard Elliott, and after his death she married William Donovan. Annie continued performing until her health declined. She passed away on October 22, 1902, from tuberculosis. Annie Jones is still remembered in American culture as a symbol of autonomy and acceptance of one's physical appearance. She transformed the stories that still abound about beauty and self-worth, and her beard challenged gender norms in the modern era. Number 19. Myrtle Corbin. The question, how many legs does a newborn girl have, is not one you hear very often. For Myrtle Corbin, who was born in Tennessee on May 12, 1868, the response was an unexpected 4. Afflicted with dipygus, Myrtle's unique condition gave her 2 pelvises and 4 legs, making her a medical marvel from birth. Myrtle's unusual anatomy caught the attention of showmen, and she began her career in sideshows at a young age. Her performances showcased her extraordinary flexibility and mobility, captivating audiences across the United States. She toured extensively with Barnum and Bailey Circus, where she was billed as the Four-Legged Girl, or the Texas Wonder. She was so popular that she earned over $450 per week, which was a huge sum of money at that time. Beyond the spotlight, she embraced family life, so she retired from show business and settled in Texas, where she married James Bicknell at 19, left the circus, and raised 4 daughters and a son. She passed away on May 6, 1928. Despite her death, other showmen attempted to imitate her unique act, but none could match the genuine wonder she brought to the stage. Number 18. Alice Elizabeth Doherty. Imagine having so much hair on your body that you can't even see your own face. This was the reality for Alice Elizabeth Doherty, born in Minneapolis, Minnesota, on May 11, 1887. Afflicted with hypertrichosis, her condition caused thick hair to cover her face and body, resembling fur. Alice's luscious hair grew to astonishing lengths, reaching 9 inches by her teenage years. Alice's unique appearance captivated audiences as she toured with circuses and sideshows, including Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus. She was often portrayed in promotional materials as a missing link or wild girl, contributing to the sensationalism of sideshow culture at the time. Despite the challenges she faced as a sideshow performer, Alice maintained a sense of dignity and independence. She eventually retired from public life, bid farewell to the circus in 1915, and settled in Minnesota, where she lived quietly until her passing on April 13, 1933, leaving behind a legacy as a remarkable circus oddity. Number 17. Ella Harper. Ella Harper, known as the Camel Girl, was born on January 5, 1870, in Hendersonville, Tennessee. She had a rare orthopedic condition called congenital genu recurvatum, which caused her knees to bend backward, resembling the hind legs of a camel. This unique characteristic made walking on all fours more comfortable for her. Ella's unusual condition caught the attention of showmen, and she began performing in circus sideshows in the 1880s. She was a star attraction in W.H. Harris's nickel-plate circus, where she was advertised as the Camel Girl. Her performances drew large crowds, fascinated and astounded by her distinctive appearance and mobility. Many of her audience were amazed by her adaptability, while others viewed her with a sense of pity. Ella herself seemed pragmatic about her condition, reportedly stating in promotional material that she intended to leave the circus to pursue an education. Ella Harper left the sideshow circuit in the late 1880s and faded from public view. She lived a relatively private life afterward and passed away on December 19th, 1921. Number 16. Joseph Merrick. Merrick's appearance captivates the imagination of an entire era, as almost every circus show lover knew and referred to him as the Elephant Man. Joseph Merrick, who was born on August 5, 1862 in Leicester, England, was afflicted with severe deformities. His condition, believed to be Proteus syndrome or neurofibromatosis type 1, caused extreme disfigurement, with enlarged limbs, a bony lump on his forehead, and thick, pendulous skin accompanied by severe body pains. Due to the extreme protrusions of his head and limbs, he was unable to sleep horizontally. Instead, he resorted to resting in an upright position, finding whatever comfort he could amidst the challenges posed by his severe deformities. It was widely reported that while his exhibition at the circus show generated significant income for his managers and exhibitors, Merrick himself saw little of the profits. Despite the exploitation he faced in showbiz and his limited access to education, he was an avid reader and a literature lover. Later on in his life, Dr. Frederick Trevis, a surgeon at the London hospital, took an interest in Merrick's case, providing him with medical care and arranging for him to live at the hospital. Merrick's story gained widespread attention after his death on April 11, 1890 at the age of 27. The exact fate of Joseph Merrick's remains has been the subject of debate and speculation. Initially, Merrick was buried in the City of London Cemetery after his death in 1819. However, there have been claims that his skeleton was preserved and displayed for medical study. The Royal London Hospital Museum currently displays a skeleton identified as Merrick's, but there's ongoing discussion and investigation about whether it truly belongs to him. Number 15. Fanny Mills. Afflicted with Milroy's disease, a rare condition causing lymphedema, Fanny Mills's left foot grew to an enormous size, measuring 17 inches in length and weighing over 22 pounds. This large foot earned her the nickname, the Ohio Bigfoot Girl. Fanny was born in Sussex, England to George and Sarah on August 30, 1860, before the family migrated to Ohio, USA. On account of this disability, she was recognized throughout the township, and her appearance began to gain attention from the press. Various showmen offered the family to exhibit Fanny to help contribute to household income, but George Mills declined all invitations. Following his death in 1885, however, Fanny decided to exhibit herself against the family's wishes. With the help of a friend, Mary Brown, who assisted in helping her walk and change her shoes, Fanny, in 1885, began to exhibit herself in New York at the Bowery Museum as that girl from Ohio with the biggest feet on earth. As a star attraction, she drew crowds fascinated by her colossal foot. Outside of her career, Fanny married William L. Brown, Mary's brother, in 1886, and he secretly accompanied her while she toured both the United States and Europe. Outside of showbiz, Fanny enjoyed sewing and spending time with her family. Fanny Mills passed away on Christmas Day in 1899. She is buried in Oakland Cemetery in Sandusky, Ohio, next to her husband William, who died of cancer in 1904, age 69. Number 14. Wong, the human unicorn. We may not be totally astonished if we see an animal with a horn, but a human. We would definitely be in awe. This was the same case with almost every viewer who watched Wong the human unicorn perform. Born in 19 in a remote Chinese village, Wong's unique feature, a protruding 13-inch horn from his forehead, became his defining trait. Discovered by a traveling circus in his early 20s, he quickly rose to fame, performing with major circuses across Asia and Europe. Despite the oddity of his appearance, Wong led a surprisingly ordinary life. He enjoyed reading classical literature and had a passion for gardening. His colleagues spoke of him as a kind, gentle man who was deeply philosophical about his condition. Wong retired in the late 1960s and spent his final years in his hometown, passing away in 1974. Number 13. Jean-Jacques Libbera. Jean Libbera, born in 1884, in Rome, had a life that began with a startling distinction. He was with a parasitic twin protruding from his chest. This rare condition made him an immediate subject of fascination. Libbera's parasitic twin, Jacques, had 2 small arms, 2 hands, 2 legs, and 2 feet. While parasitic twins typically lack consciousness, according to some reports, Jacques was alive and could even move, though he depended on Jean to survive. Jean and Jacques quite literally shared everything, including the circulatory and nervous systems. By the early 20th century, Jean had started sideshows, where he showcased his unique condition. He performed with various circuses and sideshow acts across Europe and North America, drawing large crowds eager to witness his remarkable appearance. Despite his condition, Jean managed to lead a fairly normal existence. He got married, had 4 children, and lived to be about 50 years old. And with few records of Jean Libbera's life outside of sideshow advertisements, much of his story is shrouded in mystery. Number 12. Grace, the mule face. People often say that not everyone is born with gorgeous looks, and even if we try to deny this, Grace McDaniels gave us reasons not to. Born in 1888 in Indiana, USA, McDaniels faced life with a severe facial deformity known as Sturge-Weber syndrome, which totally deformed her face. Grace McDaniels began her career in showbiz in the early 20th century, likely in her early adulthood. Touring with various circuses and sideshows, McDaniels earned nicknames like the Mule-Faced Woman or the Ugliest Woman in the World. Despite the exploitation inherent in sideshow culture, McDaniels remained dedicated to her craft, showcasing her unique appearance through singing, dancing, and storytelling. Grace McDaniels died in 1958. Number 11. General Tom Thumb. Charles Stratton, famously known as General Tom Thumb, captivated audiences worldwide with his remarkable performances. Born on January 4, 1838 in Bridgeport, Connecticut, Stratton exhibited normal growth until 6 months old, after which he stopped growing, reaching a final height of just 3 feet 4 inches. Stratton learned how to sing, dance, and impersonate famous figures, launching his career at the American Museum in New York City. General Tom Thumb's charm and talent won him international fame, including performances before royalty, such as Queen Victoria and the Tsar of Russia. His diminutive stature combined with his theatrical skills made him a beloved figure. In 1863, Stratton married Lavinia Warren, another little person and a fellow performer, in a highly publicized ceremony attended by celebrities in high society. Stratton continued to perform with P.T. Barnum's shows and other venues throughout his life, achieving considerable wealth and fame. He died on July 15, 1883, from a stroke, and his widow, Lavinia Warren, outlived him by many years, passing away in 1919. Number 10. Daisy and Violet Hilton. Born fused at the hips and buttocks, Daisy and Violet Hilton were conjoined twins born on February 5, 1908, in Brighton, England, who later became famous musicians and entertainers. They shared no major organs, making them unique and medically intriguing. Mary Hilton, who was not their biological mother, took custody of the girls shortly after their birth. She and her husband exhibited the twins on the sideshow circuit, exploiting their unique physical condition for profit. Raised in a strict and exploitative environment, the twins were trained in music, dance, and performance from an early age. By their teens, Daisy and Violet were performing in sideshows and vaudeville acts, captivating audiences with their musical talents and synchronized routines. They played instruments like the saxophone and piano, showcasing their remarkable coordination. The Hilton sisters gained significant fame in the United States, becoming top-billed acts in the 1920s and 1930s. They appeared in the 1932 film Freaks, which brought them further notoriety. Despite their success, the twins' lives were marred by exploitation and legal battles for their independence, which they finally won in 1931. Financial mismanagement and failed marriages led to financial difficulties later in life. In the 1950s, they worked in a grocery store in Charlotte, North Carolina. Daisy and Violet Hilton died in January 1969 from the Hong Kong flu, passing away within days of each other. Number 9. Aloisia Violetta Wagner. Aloisia Wagner, whose exact date of birth is unknown but was believed to have been born in 1905 or 1906, was a German-American woman who was born without legs or arms with a condition known as tetra amelia syndrome. She was born in Hemmelingen, Germany, but moved to New York, USA, alongside her stepmother when she was about 20 years old. She had a lengthy career in sideshow performance. She was famously known by her stage name, Violetta. She learned to use her mouth and teeth with remarkable precision, enabling her to perform a variety of tasks and feats that astonished audiences. From a young age, she showed a keen interest in music and performance, which became the focus of her career. Violetta's talents quickly gained attention, and she began performing in sideshows and variety acts across Europe. Her acts included playing musical instruments, painting, and even sewing with her mouth. For many years, Aloisia performed in several sideshows and freak shows as a singer and oddity, including Coney Island's Dreamland, the Ringling Brothers, and Barnum and Bailey Circus, and the Mighty Hog Circus. Audiences were captivated by her abilities, often leaving performances in awe of her talent. Violetta lived a fulfilling life, supported by her family. Violetta was married and wore her wedding band on a gold chain around her neck, though no other information about her husband can be found. She continued performing well into her later years, until her passing in 1962. Number 8. Eli Bowen. Eli Bowen was born on October 14, 1844, in Richland County, Ohio, without legs due to a congenital condition, but he defied the odds to become a celebrated acrobat known as the Legless Wonder. He only stood about 24 inches tall and weighed approximately 140 pounds. Despite this, he developed remarkable upper body strength, allowing him to perform jaw-dropping stunts that captivated audiences. Bowen's career took off in the mid-19th century when he joined various circuses and sideshows, including P.T. Barnum's, where he amazed crowds with his agility and daring feats. He could walk on his hands, perform handstands, and even jump rope with ease, often to standing ovations. Bowen's performances earned him widespread admiration, and he was lauded for his talent. His earnings were substantial for the time, enabling him to live comfortably and support his family. Bowen married and had 4 children, leading a relatively normal domestic life despite his extraordinary career. Outside the spotlight, Eli was known for his strong sense of independence. He enjoyed reading and was reportedly an avid chess player, demonstrating his sharp mind. Bowen continued to perform well into his later years, with his legacy enduring long after his death in 1924. Number 7. Prince Randan. Imagine performing incredible feats despite being born without limbs. Did Violetta come to your mind? Well, here we're talking about Prince Randan, born on October 12, 1871, in British Guiana, now Guyana. Known as the human torso, or the Snake Man, Randan captivated audiences with his remarkable abilities to write, paint, shave, and even roll cigarettes, using only his mouth and shoulders. Prince Randan was brought to the United States in 1889 by P.T. Barnum, where he became a star attraction at Barnum and Bailey Circus. Audiences were both amazed and inspired by Randan's performances. Despite the exploitative nature of the sideshow industry, Randan's talent and charisma shone through, earning him a respected place among his peers and the public. Outside the circus, he was known to be a devoted family man, married with 5 children. Prince Randan passed away on December 19, 1934. Number 6. Cuckoo, the Bird Girl. Minnie Woolsey, known as Cuckoo the Bird Girl, was born in 1880 in Rabun County, Georgia, with Virchow-Seckel syndrome, also known as bird-headed dwarfism. This rare condition gave her a small, bird-like face, a beak-shaped nose, and an extremely small stature. Minnie began her career in the circus and sideshow circuit, quickly gaining attention for her distinctive appearance and performances. Dressed in a feathered costume to accentuate her bird-like features, Minnie captivated audiences with her unique dance routines. she gained significant fame through her role in Tod Browning's 1932 film Freaks, where she danced and flapped her arms like a bird. Minnie Woolsey, or Cuckoo the Bird Girl, lived a long life, passing away in the early 1960s. And for today's subscriber's pick, take a look at these two pictures that signify an era where the bizarre was celebrated as much as it was feared. Imagine you attend a show with these two freaks on stage. To the left, a being with twisted horns protruding from its forehead, its visage painted with the sorrowful rings of a forsaken clown that could stir discomfort in the hearts of the audience, and on the right, a creature boasting a startling semblance to the mythic goblins of ancient lore, squatting in defiance that could invoke silent stares from the crowd. How do you think you would react if you attended a freak show featuring these two performers on stage? Share your answers and thoughts with us in the comments section below. Number 5. Schlitzie Circus. Schlitzie Surtees, often known simply as Schlitzie, was born on September 10, 1901, possibly in the Bronx, New York, though details about his early life remain unclear. Schlitzie had microcephaly, a condition characterized by a smaller-than-average head and intellectual disabilities, which gave him a distinctive appearance and the cognitive abilities of a young child. Schlitzie began his circus career quite early in his life and became a prominent figure in sideshows, often billed as a pinhead. He performed with major circuses such as Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey, as well as various traveling sideshows. His acts typically included singing, dancing, and performing simple tricks, which endeared him to audiences. Schlitzie's charm and innocence made him a beloved performer. He is perhaps best known for his role in Tod Browning's 1932 film Freaks, which brought him lasting fame. Financially, Schlitzie's earnings were modest, as was common for sideshow performers. He was cared for by his fellow performers and handlers, who ensured his well-being throughout his life. Schlitzie died on September 24, 1971, in Los Angeles, California. Number 4. Edward Mordake. Born in the 19th century to a wealthy and noble family in England, Edward Mordake's life was not so royal due to his rare condition of diprosopis, or two-facedness. Mordake's second face, which could not speak or eat, was a source of fascination and horror for those who encountered him. Despite his desire for a normal life, he found himself drawn to the world of sideshows and circuses, where he became a star attraction. As the man with two faces, Mordake toured with various sideshows and exhibitions. His performances often included dramatic readings or eerie music to enhance the spectacle. Opinions about Mordake vary widely. Some stories and legends surrounding Edward Mordake suggest that he was cursed or possessed by supernatural forces. According to these accounts, Mordake's second face was believed to have its own consciousness, whispering sinister and malevolent thoughts to him. Some also say that Mordake's condition was often interpreted as a sign of divine punishment or demonic influence. While there were many speculations that Edward Mordake committed suicide, his exact cause and date of death remain unknown, further adding to the intrigue surrounding his life and legacy. Number 3. The Lobster Boy. Grady Stiles, known as Lobster Boy, was born on July 18, 1937, in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, with ectrodactyly, a rare congenital disorder that caused his hands and feet to resemble lobster claws. Stiles began his career in sideshows at a young age, following in the footsteps of his father, who also had performed as a sideshow attraction. Outside of his career, Stiles was known to enjoy spending time with his family and participating in outdoor activities. Grady Stiles was married multiple times. He married Maria Teresa Stiles in 1978, and they had 2 children together. However, their marriage was tumultuous, marked by instances of domestic violence and abuse. Stiles was known to be abusive towards his family, and he had a history of aggressive behavior, which sometimes extended beyond his personal relationships and affected his interactions with others. Despite his struggles with alcoholism and anger management issues, Stiles continued to perform in sideshows and circuses until his death in November 29, 1992. Number 2. Johnny Eck, the Halfman. Johnny was a man who defied expectations by thriving in the world of sideshows despite being born without the lower half of his body. He ingeniously used his hands to navigate his daily life with remarkable independence. His full name was John Eckhart Jr., and he was born on August 27, 1911, alongside his fraternal twin in Baltimore, Maryland. His career in sideshows began at an early age, when he and his twin brother, Robert, were discovered by a sideshow promoter. Johnny's performances were nothing short of remarkable, and he toured extensively with various circuses and sideshows across the United States. Eck was known to enjoy painting, writing, and collecting stamps. Johnny was a true entertainer who loved everything about show business. He was known for his impressive acrobatics, including his famous one-armed handstand, but he also juggled and trained animals. He was also an accomplished runner, and was sometimes even called the legless runner. Throughout his life, he remained dedicated to his craft, and continued performing until his death on January 5, 1991. Number 1. Isaac W. Sprague. Isaac W. Sprague, famously known as the Human Skeleton, was born on May 21, 1841, in East Bridgewater, Massachusetts. His extreme thinness was due to a rare wasting disease, now believed to be a form of muscular atrophy, which began affecting him in his early teens. Despite having a normal childhood weight, Sprague's condition caused a dramatic and continual loss of muscle mass, leaving him with a gaunt appearance. By adulthood, Sprague stood about 5 feet, 6 inches tall, but weighed only around 40 pounds. This unusual physique led him to join the sideshow circuit in the mid-19th century, where he became a popular attraction. He performed with P.T. Barnum's American Museum, drawing crowds who were both fascinated and sympathetic to his condition. His skeletal frame, combined with his engaging personality, made him a standout performer. He married Tamar Moore in 1865, and the couple had 3 sons. He continued to perform until his health further declined, ultimately passing away on January 5, 1887. And that's all for today. Thanks for watching.